This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, hello. Am I audible, everyone?
Yes, Nikhil, you're audible.
Yes, Nikhil.
Yeah, let me start with this thing, framework. Hope everyone is available. So we will start with two projects. We'll close it up as soon as possible. So I can share you a couple of videos for JMeter and all because that's again taking to be a complete different course altogether. Okay, I may give you high level overview, but I cannot give you the entire understanding. Whatever we discuss is more than enough. Okay, we have discussed quite a lot for all the frameworks. The only
So,
thing
but
is
API
robot
testing,
framework, which is API is there. API is there.
so you will go in depth in API testing?
Yeah, yeah, API we will discuss.
Okay.
Fine. So here, if we start with the project, okay, I can start explaining you. I will probably try to close couple of non-working projects which are not important. Okay. So if you see,
Screen, Miss Hi Nikhil. Screen,
no,
are you
no,
sharing screen?
I'm not sharing. I'm not sharing. I will share now. 1 minute.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So I see one, two, three people who are waiting for. I'm getting. Is there anyone still be joining here? No, right? So we have seen about this project, right? We have seen about uh, VDD project, okay? Um, I'll explain you every line of this, okay? How it is designed and what is the basic understanding of it. So you may probably has to understand the structure of it, okay? See, generally a framework structure, I will explain because there is nothing new we are doing. The only thing that we are doing is we are going to see. Only thing is like framework should be understood to you. Coding, okay? Coding part, you know. So now what is supposed to be known to you? You should be knowing the framework structure. Okay, how this framework is created and how are we going to run them. Okay, so I will try to explain you everything. Yeah, please listen. The only thing that you need to understand is the structure. Okay, how a framework structure looks. I will explain the framework structure, and I will try to explain you each and every folder here and what is the use of these folders. Okay, so first let's see this explanation, and then we will VDD framework. Okay, the main things in the framework is, what is the main things? Configuration data. Okay, please go and mute everyone. You have to go through it. Okay, once I explain all these things, okay, you guys has to go through it to understand each and
Uh,
everything. Okay.
just I have one question, Nikhil. It means in organizations, how the project is going on, or how the candidate is working on same the project. Are you explaining here?
Yeah, I am explaining one of the similar project. Okay, see, the point is how exactly in an organization a project works, a framework works. Okay, they may not be following the same thing what I am doing here. Okay, but they may
Okay.
maintain the similar kind of structure. Okay,
Okay.
got it right? You
Yes.
will easily understand how the structure of any framework in Python BDD looks.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, it is from starting how to create the framework and like, yes.
Yeah. We are not going to create a framework from scratch because the code is already there with me. Already we have seen how to write. You understood, right? We have seen bits and pieces. How to write PyTest, how to write VDD, how to write unit test, how to write page object model. Now we are combining all these things. How to write, how to automate a test case. All these things combined together and creating one framework. Okay, you got it right.
Okay.
So
Yes.
you should just
Yes.
understand, if anyone asks you an interview, you should be able to explain the framework structure. Structure means this framework I worked in my company has this many folders. Each folder, this folder is meant for this. We are maintaining our code in this folder. We are writing our feature files in this folder. We are writing our page object classes in this folder. We are writing our scripts in this folder. We are creating logs in this folder. We are creating utilities in this folder. Understood, right? You should be able to
Yes.
explain.
Yes,
Okay,
I got it. And
so
also, yeah. And also, I request you, miss, while explaining, if those are the IMP questions, miss, it will be mostly it is asked in interview. So while explaining the framework, so that is also explained, miss. It is the important question, so it will mostly ask in. So that one also highlight, miss. You can please
sure,
while
sure,
explaining. Yeah, sure.
sure, I'll
Thank
do
you.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so configuration folder, see, name can be anything. I am just giving you configuration data. There is one folder called features folder. Okay, I'll explain each and every folder what is it meant for. Under feature folder only you are maintaining two things. One is page objects. Okay, you can give any names. Okay, please understand, names can be anything, but the understanding inside it is required. And under and also one more folder called environment file. Okay, which is a, this should be a folder. Okay, this should be a folder. Folder means it should be a package. Steps is a package. Page objects is a folder they created. Folder means a group of files. Environment is a file. Okay, .py file. This is under features. Okay, then we have logs and utilities. So these are the utilities folder. These are the different types of, okay, folders that are available in our framework. So this is our framework. We should explain in such a way. Framework is Python plus BDD Cucumber. Okay. Plus you can also create any Allure reports if at all required. By default, you will have an extension. You will get a report out of it. Okay. Similar to the way that you are getting. Okay. In your what do you say? This one. Okay. This is Python BDD. You can also implement hybrid by integrating BDD plus this is page object. If you want, you can also say data driven testing. You don't need it. So this is Python plus BDD plus page object model. Got it right? So this is the structure of the folder Python. Okay, framework structure. Please understand. Okay. Now in the framework structure, how many folders we have? Folder 1, configuration folder, folder 2, features folder, folder 3, 4. Okay. Under it, again we have these things. Okay. Let's understand each and everything for what purpose it is. So I will try to explain every line of code. Okay, or how the folder is moving from one place to other. Okay, how the redirections in interview, they would be more interested to know the folder structure. No one will be asking what code you have written. Okay, they would ask you, can you explain about your framework? You should say, yes, I have worked in page object model plus PDD plus Python, Selenium with Python. Okay, then my folder structure consists of configuration data folder, features folder. Okay, and under features folder I'm maintaining feature files. Okay, I'm maintaining page objects, I'm maintaining step definitions, I'm maintaining environment.py. Okay, and then I have logs folder to maintain the logs. I have utilities folder to maintain the utilities. Okay, so I'll explain each and every folder what is it. This is nothing but this is meant to this is useful to store, okay, project properties. What do you mean by this? Okay, this configuration folder, there is a file you create under it called config.ini. Ini means in file extension. .ini means in file extension. You cannot read directly, Python file cannot read this directly. You need to do some parsing means what? Some conversion. So Python cannot read this ini file, right? So you need to write some configuration in the utilities. You need to write some conversion code. Okay, you need to write some conversion code. That code or that file in order to read this ini file. Okay, in order to read that ini file, you need to write some what do you say, conversion code. So this is a file you create under the configuration data. What is the use of it? Okay, the use of it is to store the properties or to store the common variables, okay, in the project. For example, my username, my environment, my password. Because I work in a company, I work in multiple environments. Sometimes I work in dev environment, API environment, QA environment, pre-prod environment, UAT environment. Wherever environment, what I'm supposed to automate, I'll how to work. Everything has their every environment has different username password sometimes or same username password, or every environment has different URLs, right? So that URLs, where are you storing? You should store it in a common place. Okay, that place is nothing but configuration data folder. Under that folder, you are going to create a, okay, create a file called config.ini. Here you are storing like this. This is the structure of ini file. You need to give some heading. Under heading, you can store the variables. For example, I want to store some variables under dev environment. I can give any heading here. Okay, heading dev environment. Under it, I want to store uh, environment equal to. So I can say dev environment URL equal to something. Okay, dev.abcd.com, for example, I'm just giving. Okay, so then I say dev username, okay, equal to some abcd. Okay, dev password equal to 1234. You understood? This is, suppose some variable is there. Okay, some field is there. Okay, enter select employee. Okay, or you can say you want to pass some field which is common, which is constant across the application. Okay, or you want to pass some employee id which is unique, some 2345. Okay, so under this particular environment, so you are storing like this. Similarly, I want to store some other files. This is for test environment, or you can say uat environment. In uat environment, under uat environment, I have different url passwords and all. Okay, you are getting my point, right? So I have here uat.abcd.com. Think that your username password is same, or maybe it is different. So employee id is 2456, something like this. Okay, so you got my point, right? So you are just storing all the common properties in the application. So instead of me, suppose for example, I want to write username, and that username I want to change everything everywhere. Okay, instead of doing that, I'll store it here, and then I will call this file. Okay, so I mean I will try to read this file initially. So instead of creating anything, I will try to show you the code, however. So this is the way you are going to store all your common variables which are related to your project. You got it, everyone? Understood?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Please tell me. Okay. Similarly, locators also. For example, you want to store this locator. Okay, generally you don't need to do it. Okay, but see, that again depends. You please understand, whatever I am explaining may be one kind of framework. If you go to a project, in their project you may experience a different framework. So in interview, you should be telling what framework you worked on, because every company has their own framework. The structure may be same, the ultimate output is same, the ultimate agenda of automating the same, but the way that maintain the test, the folders and maintaining the scripts under it is different. Okay, got it, right? So you should be explaining your way of seeing it. So suppose, see, I have took this framework, I mean I have took this particular project from some source. Okay, reason because I converted it to our way of understanding. Hmm? I took it from some source, okay, but I converted it to our way of understanding, okay, so that you will be able to understand. So, for example, so QA, way to QA automation, okay, this is one application. This is an application, for example, okay. In this, we are automating this, okay. This we are automating. What are we automating? We are automating. We are entering username. We are entering phone number, okay. We are entering some email ID. We are entering the city, okay. We are entering all this and clicking on submit. Are you getting right? So this is what we are going to do. So in this case, what is that we are majorly focusing? The URL. Okay, this URL, whatever I am giving, that URL I want to directly pass it from this file. Okay, rest all I want to fill it generally in the test cases only. Okay, otherwise you can also fill it from here. Okay, you can maintain all the XPaths here. So I'm locators I'm storing with some name. Okay, this is just the XPath. Okay, find element by XPath, comma, this one name XPath. Okay, so here it is input name, this one. If you want to, you can also see double slash input name. Okay, what is the XPath of this name? Double slash input name equal to name. Similarly, phone equal to phone number, email, okay, country, city, okay, mm, XPath by username, password, submit. This username, this password, and this submit. So I am capturing all path and I'm storing it in this path. Okay, under locators. So usually I don't need to do it. I'm doing it. I'll tell you what is the reason I'm telling. Okay, do it. I hope you understood, right? Here I have entered some other random details just to make you understand. See, it's not important. See, whatever you're storing here, it's not important that everything you have to use. Whatever you want to use, you can use it, but just maintain the structure like this. Okay, this is the structure. The structure is heading, and then under heading, whatever the variables you want to store, you store it. Then other heading and all the variables, other heading, all the variables. Okay, if you want to use them, you use them, otherwise you don't need to use them. For example, I don't need this all things. Okay, I only need this particular URL. So I will say go to test environment and call this method, call this variable, that's all. Okay, for example, I want to go to locators and say name XPath. Okay, go to locators and say phone number XPath. So I'm just storing all these things here. For pre-prod also I don't need anything, just I'm storing, okay, some random data to make you understand. See, this configuration folder is just to store the common properties of the application. Next, coming to the features. Okay, under features, you know, right, everyone knows what are we doing. Under features, you are writing two things. Okay, you are maintaining feature files. Okay, you know, right, feature files. What that feature files means, we have already seen. Feature 1 dot feature. Okay, feature 2 dot feature. I'll also show you that. So this two feature files. For example, if you see registration feature is there, what I am doing, the structure I don't need to tell you, boss, you already know. Scenario outline, feature, regression tag. Given I navigate to this, when I enter the name and enter the phone number, enter the email, enter the country, what, which website I'm doing, this website. Simple, right? Name, phone number, email, country, city, username, password, and submit button. See now, okay. So this many different what do you say? Uh, Examples I am giving. I can give any website, for instance. Okay, this is not the only website I have. The only reason I cannot share my personal, I mean my office framework to you, since I cannot share it. I'm sharing it from a common source. Okay, you understood? I think you want. I cannot have my. I work on VPN. Okay, VPN. You know, right? We are working in companies. So I work on a virtual machine where I cannot get any code from that machine to my local machine. Okay, this is my personal laptop. I cannot get that code and share it. So I am sharing some website which is relevant to the understanding that we have already seen. And in any company, if you go, it will be equally or nearly same to it. The ultimate goal is that you need to understand what framework we are doing and what is the understanding. So this feature file we have written with examples we have written, and feature 2, if you see, I'm automating test automation. That means I'm automating this application. Okay, you can automate any application. This application you can automate any application. For instance, here name, email, phone number, hmm, address, and date. Okay, we are entering. Where is the date here? Okay, okay. Then uh, then launching the website, and when click on alert and handling it. So we're launching it and we are clicking on alert and we are handling it. Okay, something like that. Just see, we can create any number of things. Okay, you already know how to do it. There is nothing new. Okay, you guys are already aware of how to do it. Okay, the only thing that I want to explain you is how to make it, how to make you understand, or how to maintain it. So these two feature files we have, for instance, and then this is the page classes, page objects we have, and these are the step files you have. We already know in page classes, if you see page in the base URL, see, you need to understand each and everything. It seems to be very tough in the way that it looks, but it is very easy and very understanding to every one of you. Okay, if I try to explain you in a very basic understanding. So generally, let's take one feature file, registration. So these steps are very clear to you, and even feature 2 is also very basic. Okay, whatever we are entering and all. Okay, in environment.py, so I will explain one by one, but before explaining one by one, I'll try to give it like this. In the page objects, you will have page classes. Okay, you will have page class 1. Okay, page class 2. You know, right? In page objects, what we'll do, we'll have page classes. In the step definition files, we'll have step definitions. We'll have Python files. Okay, you know, right? Step 1, okay, dot py, step 2 dot py. In environment, this is the basic important file. Okay, environment file is the basic file, important file. In environment, whatever we are doing is, if you see the code, in the code environment file, what we are doing what has to be done after scenario, after step. Before scenario and before step is also there. However, we are handling that in the code only. So I am only doing this. Two are the tags, or you can say hooks. Okay, after scenario is a method, after step is also a method. After scenario will run after every scenario, after step will run after every step. Okay, got it right? After every step, you are going to check if the status is failed, then you are attaching this screenshot. Else, every after every scenario, you are closing the driver. That's the thing. Simple thing. Okay, you don't need to think of it much here. There is nothing much we have it. This is a new report that we are attaching. This is also not required as of now, but you need to just understand this is hooks. We maintain the hooks. Hooks means like before scenario. All these are inbuilt methods. Okay, after scenario, okay, after step, before step, all these are being managed under environment.py. This is like a base file. Okay, so now you understood what is this folder. Now you understood. See, what are we doing inside it, I'll explain. However, you understood the structure. What is this, each and everything happens. Can you tell me yes or no?
Uh, yes,
If
Yes, Nikhil.
no, you need to. Yeah. What about Hitesh and okay, Raj has told this, huh? Or Hitesh has told this.
only in environment.py, the before scenario on that thing, I am just.
No, no. Before scenario, we are not using here. Before scenario, before step, because already we are using before scenario in other way. Okay, so we are only
Okay,
using
yes.
after scenario, after step. But we also have before scenario, before step, after scenario, after step. This four hooks. If you know TestNG in Java, we have we have this flows. Okay, hooks. We say hooks. Okay, so these methods are
Okay,
inbuilt methods.
okay.
If you write any method like this with these names, that will run according to some activity, because they won't run normally. If you write before scenario, it will run before every scenario. If you say after scenario, after every scenario this will run. After step, after every step this will run. Before step, before every step it will run. Only it is not mandatory to use it. If you use it, it will work according. If you don't use it, no issue.
Okay, and that thing, and
Acco-
one more thing. You said actually screenshot is taking and report is also generating while miss running the this
Hmm, hmm,
field.
hmm,
So
hmm, hmm, hmm.
it means miss report should generate at the end, or while running it should generate the report.
Report will obviously, report will generate at the end of the allure, report will generate at the end of the report, at the end of the what do you say, framework, at the end of the test cases run. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so
Yes.
it will attach the screenshot to the report.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah. Got it.
so
Collecting
allure
the
report,
evidence.
yeah. So next to logs folder, see logs folder and all you need to understand. See there is no, there is some coding involved in it. We just need to know, we don't need to know exactly what coding we are using and all here. Why? Because hmm, what I'm trying to say is, uh, logs is basically, it is a one time configuration that we have to do. Okay, so what you are supposed to do is, here this is one time configuration. So whatever you are trying to do, this logs, there is some predefined code and that code has to be implemented. For example, here in this logs you are storing all the logs. In log utils there is some predefined code. Okay, so here what ultimately it says is, like, you don't need to know all these things. For example, you can just get it from internet, of course. Otherwise you can create a normal logger also. This is just a logger which is created for maintaining what files we are running. Okay, and then if any file or if anything that got failed, you are going to create a new log file under this folder, and you are setting this. For example, if you see one of that file, this time, okay, what activity you are doing. Okay, it will log like this. You got it right. It will log that information like this. So in order to, whatever the activity you're doing, so that logger is going to create it. So this is a predefined code in the logging.utility. So here you can just use this code anywhere required. Okay, so you don't need to know exactly this. There is a class called, so there is a predefined, what do you say, logger. Okay, which you are already, which you need to get it from logging package. There is a package called logging. In that package, you can able to set the logs. Okay, set the logs. Logs are nothing but just the statements after your activity is performed. Okay, they will not fail the test case, rather they will collect the information and store. So ultimately what you are doing in this is, you are going to capture every activity that is performed, and you're going to add to a logger file. Okay, see, it is going to create a log file name with that log. Okay, see the name called log, and current time means with the date it will come, .txt. Got it right. So your current time, if you see time dot str time, year, month and date. This is a year, this is a month and date. So it is going to create a log like this. Okay, and then this is a format, file name. So you have to, if you go inside it, this is the file name, this is a file name. So how it is doing, let's see. Okay, line number, which line? Line number, which line? Okay, then level name and message, info, and what is the message? Okay, and the time is also given here, if you see. Okay, so it is going to set your logging in that way. So you just need to have this handy. So you are going to set that level, file level, and you are going to create a file handler. So it is going to create a file in this folder. So this is the way you are going to store. So every activity that you do, it will be stored in the logs. Okay, so this is the logger file which is going to log. So in the logs, in the log folder, you will only have logs. Okay, in the utility. So what is the utility basically meant for? Utility is meant for creating some generic methods. For example, Excel utilities. Okay, you want to create some Excel related methods. Okay, some generic methods which can be used across my application or my project. Okay, some parser, config parser. Okay, or you can say parser. So why are we writing? Because why are we using config reader.py? Because we have created ini file. I cannot read ini file directly. I cannot write python code in reading this file. So I need to convert this code, or I need to write a parser code. I need to parse it. That means I need to convert it in such a way I can able to read this file. Okay, that code, that logic of it is there in this log config reader. In Excel utilities, you will have the code related to how to um, store your Excel files. For example, you can have a method for reading an Excel file. Hmm? You can have a method for writing into an Excel file. You may have a method for getting the row count, column count, cell count. Okay, I mean how many fields are there. So all these things can be stored in Excel utilities. You can also have assertions. Hmm? You can also have any other login log utilities. If you want to write some logic in logger, okay, so you need to write some utilities, any utilities. Okay, any utilities you want to build. Okay, some API connections you are making. Okay, you are writing some methods for DB connectivity, you are writing some methods for something else. Everything or anything that is there can be stored in the utilities folder. Utilities folder, this is meant for storing. Okay, to store common properties, to store common utilities or common generic methods of the application. Yeah, tell me what you did. Anyone understood or anything did not understood? I did not explain anything else inside it, how to run it, how, why it is running, but you understood the structure, everyone? Can you tell me?
Uh, yes.
No, no. Pramod, still you have any doubts? I mean, doubts in terms of structure. What we are doing inside, I'll explain. Hmm? But did you understood the structure?
Yes, structure I understand. Yeah.
What about others? There are only three people. Yeah,
Yes, Nikhil.
yeah. So now let's start understanding each and everything what is there in every file. Okay. Now let's start understanding. So if you see in config.ini, I am having the heading. You can have heading. You can have some URL, some variable. in init that variable and value of it, some variable and the value of it. Okay, it can be url, username, password, any data that you want to store. Similarly, some data here, some data here. It's not mandatory whether you're using it or not. Okay, but you're storing some data. Similarly, some locator, and you're just storing all the locators here which are related to your automation. That's all. So here this file is having this. Okay, I don't need even dev environment. I just need two environments, test environment and this. Okay, so now this config file is there inside this configuration folder. So in features folder you have multiple things. One is you have page object class folder, steps folder, steps package. Init, you don't need to worry about init. Init is a default file which will be created. You can delete it of course if you don't want to do. Okay, or else if you don't delete it, it will create a package. Okay, so this is not a mandatory one. Okay, I mean that's not that's a file which will not have anything inside it. So inside it steps, you are having steps files and environment.py file and then feature files. Okay, so here itself I'm having, instead of having it separately under feature, because I'm going to run features only, right? So now for example, let's try to navigate each and every step. Okay, so in the registration file, I say given I navigate to QA automation, then we enter the name. So let's see what is the step definition written for this. If you go to the steps here, given given I navigate to QA automation.com. Okay, this U means Unicode. It's not mandatory. If you use U also no problem. If you don't use U also no problem. Given when done, if you write a G capital or also no problem. G small also no problem, which you already know, right? You guys already know, right? This part you know, right? Which we have already seen, right? So we are importing features from features, page objects, registration page. So this page class we are importing. Okay. So now this one is commented. Okay, don't worry about what is this. Right now I'll explain. Next here we are just navigating to the website. So I have created some method context. So I'm connecting to Chrome. You know right, these two things. This one, um, where is my URL? First tell me my URL there in config.ini. This is my URL. I want to now come here to test the site URL and read this one. So if I say come to the test environment, so come to config.ini, from config.ini go to test environment, from test environment get to test site URL, only then I can able to get this URL. I have two ways to write. One is I can directly write, okay, I can directly write driver.get that URL. Now I am not doing. That's the difference between framework and others. In framework, you are storing somewhere and you need to get that file from there. Okay, you need to write everything generic. Okay, so that everyone can able to use it. So right, I am connecting to Chrome here by this executable path. Or else what we can do is, you already seen right this particular code. Service object I'll create. It's a context dot driver. Okay, clear right now? Clear right? Till here you understood? You understood everyone?
Yes.
Now the real story comes. Now see everything I should say context dot. Okay, context dot reg. Reg means just a, see here I'm, reg means like a object reference. Okay, equal to I'm creating the object of driver. Why I'm creating the object of driver? Boss, I am using the page object model. Okay, what I am doing, I am using the page object model. instead of me reading, see, this is the logic, please understand here. Okay, the whole logic is there here. I am calling the method. See, already imported. I have imported. Go to the features. Under features, go to page objects. Under page object, go to registration. Under page registration page, there is a class called registration page class. Go to that class. Okay, this is the class name called registration page, which is in turn importing by base. So this is called inheritance. So tomorrow, if anyone asks, inheritance is being used in framework. What is the inheritance where we are using? We are using inheritance here. This class, which is a page object class, is inheriting base class. See, it is navigating to base class. Okay. So in the init, it is saying that go to the super class init driver. So if I say super class init driver, here I am defining. So what happens here is, whatever the driver instance you are getting, please remember this. I mean, you need to be little focused here, so you will understand everything. So here, what I am doing after this step, what I am doing, I'll explain you more here. I have created the page class, right? Okay, okay. I am creating the object of it. Something equal to some object reference equal to registration of driver. Will you agree with me if I say like this? Reg dot some method I should call from the registration page. Are you clear? Are you understanding what I am trying to say? Are you getting my point?
Mm,
See, open. Where is the open? So in the base class, there is a method called click. In the registration page, there is a open method. What it is saying, self.driver.get URL. See, boss, you're not getting my point at all. Are you getting my point or not? See, there are two options. Either I can say context, simple way, context dot driver dot get. I can say QA You understood? This is a direct way. Are you getting this? Everyone knows. If I say like this,
Yes.
Pramod, you can understand. If you say like this, you are clear, right?
yes.
Yeah. But now tell me, where is my QAautomation.com? It is there in where? Config.ini. Okay. There is a method in the registration saying that open the driver.get of URL. So I have to pass that URL here. So if I call this method, you understood, right? If I call this method, for example, in this page, okay, I'm creating the object of registration because open is there. Okay, instead of saying, I can say registration, which is nothing but registration of driver. So I should always say context everywhere because context is used. Reg dot open. Okay, if I call URL, if I pass that QAautomation.com is also fine. Are you getting my point? Is this also fine? Because I already created a method called in registration page. Okay, it is passing some URL. If I pass that value directly here, this is also fine. Is it fine? Are you understanding this one? Tell me,
Yes.
tell me this one.
Yes.
What about others? What about others? This is also fine. So now what I did, okay, please don't confuse. So yes, as said, I have created the object of registration because in registration page there is a method called open. Open is saying go to the driver and get the URL. Okay, you know, right? You understand, right? So I can also pass like this directly. Okay, so I created the object of resident. I said open, but where is my URL? My URL I cannot pass like this directly. My URL is in config.ini. So now what I am saying here, if you see in the registration page, I am saying dot open. I am not passing again URL directly. I am saying go to the config reader file. In that file, that's why I have to say here very clearly. From the utilities, import the config reader file. So utilities, go to the utilities folder. From the utilities folder, so I need to say in utilities folder there is a file called config reader. So go to that file. That's what I have to import here. Okay. So now what I did, I came here. I'm saying I'm going to the config reader file. Okay. Inside this file, I am writing the config parser. See, this is the config parser. Okay. So what it is returning, what this method is returning, it is returning config.get section comma key. Section means which section, what is the heading, comma key, what is the key. So what it is going to read, this config is going to read this configuration.ini. In this file it is returning the section comma key. Okay, so what you need to understand is there is a config parser. There is already a package called, there is a package called config parser. In this package there is a class called config parser. This class will have an access. Okay, what are we doing? Literally we are doing what, we are going to read the file which is there in config.ini. In order to read this file, I am going to do what, I am going to write a configuration path, a method I am writing. This method is accepting two parameters. Okay, now I am going to create a variable. So I am going to create the object of this config parser. Since this object is able to read the config file, so I am saying dot slash slash. If this is in the same path, I can say dot slash slash. Dot slash slash means, dot means same path, slash slash configuration data. That means go to the configuration data and config.ini. So that means I am able to read this file, and after reading I am returning what? I am returning the section comma key. For example, if I say read config, okay, if I pass test environment comma test URL, test site URL, which is there in config.ini. So if I say test environment dot test site URL, if I say like this, what happens? You know, it is going to this file. It will go to this particular heading. See, that's what section comma key. It will go to this section and it will find this key. Whatever the data that is coming, it is going to return if you call this method. So that is what I am going to call this method in this particular automation. So you see, context.reg.open config read. Config reader is a file name. Config is the file. This is the method name, and this is a section name. That means the heading name, and this is the value key name. So the whole story, if I say, it is nothing but the whole thing. It is going to return QA.automation. So you understood, right? Instead of either directly calling, you are getting my point, everyone. Instead of directly calling this way, okay, I created object. I created the object of registration. I'm calling the method of registration, and instead of directly passing the value, I am going to call this file. From this file, I'm going to call this method. From this method, I'm going to pass these two sections, which indirectly is going to call to this one, this URL. Did you understood or not? At all you understood or little bit you understood? Or you did not understand anything? So that is the difference between a framework and a normal. In framework, you cannot pass anything directly. See, now you understood, everyone. Tomorrow, if I want a different URL, I'll go here and I'll just change the URL. I don't need to come to the code. Suppose if I'm writing 1,000 test cases, do I need to go to all 1,000 test cases and change it? No, I can directly change it. Did you understood everyone? This particular what are we doing here? Nothing. Driver dot get that URL. For that I have to call a I have to call a class. I have to create the object of that class. I have to call that method doff. I have to go to the utilities folder. In that folder config parser I have to go no, utilities config parser file I have to go. In that read config method I have, in that read config method is returning, okay, it is returning uh, a method, or it is returning what it is returning, the particular if you see here what it is returning, config reader, it is returning config dot, this config dot get, it is returning the value of section and key. Are you understanding? Pramod or anyone, did you understood or you did not understand anything?
Mhm. Yes, actually understanding, but I need to go through again. So
Yeah, you need to obviously go through it, only then you can come up with any doubts or anything. You can understand as of now, okay. You can right away keep
yes,
this as a, see, you don't need to say the framework. See, please again, see, understand, tomorrow in company interview if they ask you what is the application you worked on, it don't keep this application, okay, this is a simple one. You can keep any application because any application will work on the same lines. If you can automate 3 pages, you can automate the rest 20 or 30 pages in application. Yes sir, got it
yes,
right.
correct.
Because every UI component is equally same. You will not have a different UI component once you go to a different page. Okay, so you can say that you worked in banking domain with the same framework structure.
Okay,
Okay,
correct. Yeah.
so they only look for structure. No one in the interview look for what you have written, what application you're working. Because see, today you are working in a service based company. Every year you change one project. Do you explain every project to them? No, right?
No.
In product based company you may work in a single project, but in service based company you may work, or you are switching every 1 year one company. Okay, then will you explain one project? You say that I worked in some domain, overall this is my overall application structure. Okay, in that this is my framework structure. Okay, so I'm storing my properties in configuration, I'm storing my page classes. Okay, I'm creating the methods inside it, I'm storing my locators, I'm creating step definitions, I'm creating feature files. I have an environment file where we are writing hooks, like after before and after we can write. Okay, I'm also having a utilities folder where I'm maintaining the configuration utilities, log utilities, Excel utilities, assertion utilities. You can create any utility. You understood, right? So if you
Yes.
explain this, they understand that okay, this guy really worked on some framework. Because automation, see BDD we have already seen, boss. Okay, you cannot ask me, please teach me BDD and page object model. Please teach me step definition, how to write. All this I have already taught. See here we are not learning coding because BDD we have seen, page object model we have seen. Same story here. Okay, nothing different. We are combining everything together and we are linking one to other, one to other, one to other. Okay, got it right. So here now what happens? So we just logged in. That's what the first step says. Okay. Second step is enter the name. Okay. Enter the name. So I can come here to the registration steps. Enter. See, there are two options. Either you can give here or you can give 0. Okay. So you can give that particular whatever you are passing, or you can give a argument 0. Argument 0 means it can accept anything. It can be a string or a number or anything. Here, if you are giving double quotation, that means it will only accept string. Okay, you got it right. So that is not mandatory for you to pass like this. I want to give a difference of what we already discussed and here. So you can also pass like this so that you will have a different understanding, right? If I teach only one way, you may accustom to only one. Tomorrow, if you see something like this, you will see, okay, I have never learned it. So that's why I'm teaching. I'm telling here. You can also pass like this, or if you don't want, you can give 0 also, index 0. You know, right? Because I'm entering the name here. See, uh, here entering the name. Okay, so entering the name, you're entering. Sorry, I'm sorry. What is this? Okay, entering the name, context dot name. Now you see. Now we already created the object of it. We are calling the method object dot method of set name. Okay, where it will go? It will go to here. You're saying set name. Okay, set name of type name XPath comma name. What it is doing? Can you tell me? So generally, what are we doing? We can directly create the name like this. Okay, we can directly pass like the context dot driver dot find element by XPath. Okay, something dot send keys of some name. Okay, in the examples you are giving some name, right? If you see here, you are giving name Rahul Arora. Okay, this name should be passed here generally. Wait a minute, I'm having multiple things which I don't need. Okay, see, right, I can do like this, but what I am doing here, context dot reg dot set name. So context is something that you know, regression dot set name. Where is the set name? Set name is nothing but it is a part of, is a part of registration page dot. So here what it is saying, dot type self dot type name comma name. It is saying to type. Okay, so if you go to type, it is saying if it is ends with, see, this is not required, but I am explaining you. You can write a very basic idea only also. So sometimes, you know, some people will write different things, right? Okay, some people will write with XPath, some people will write with CSS, some people will write with ID. So the three only is considered here. If any locator which is ends with XPath, you have to find it by XPath. If it is ends with CSS, you have to find by CSS. If it is ends with ID, you have to find by ID. Okay, so you need to go to locators and you need to get that locator dot send keys of value. Okay, you are getting my point, right? So type is a meta which is there in base.py. Okay, base.py. So what is the meaning of this? It's simple thing. If any locator, instead of writing all these things, you can also write in a simple way. Go to the registration page. Here itself you can say driver dot find element by XPath. Some XPath you can pass. Okay, dot send keys. So some XPath means you can also say driver dot, see, you can say driver dot find element. Okay, by dot XPath comma, you can also pass that locator. Okay, wherever that name is there, right? This X by XPath is there, right? See, here type name XPath is there. Okay, so what you are trying to do, you can also skip this, you can also comment it and you can say by XPath and you can pass that XPath. Okay, this XPath, or you have already stored that XPath, right? Where you have stored that XPath, you have stored in the locators. Okay, in the config.in. Okay, this XPath name XPath. Okay, instead of passing this, what you can do, tell me, what you can do, tell me. Config reader, config parser dot read config, sorry, config reader. Okay, config reader dot, okay, in that read config is there. In that you could say the locators comma name. Sorry, what is this locator is already config.ini. What is this, like name XPath? Are you understanding my point? Did you understood my point? Comma value, sorry, comma name. Are you getting my point? You can also write like this. Are you getting my point? Did you understood what I'm trying to say? Boss, you understood this? What is this? What is this? This configurator is meant for what? Configurator is going to read this config file. In this config file, whatever is there, okay, that should be written in this way. So if you are returning this function is returning the key and value pair. If you go to config file under locators, you have this one. Similar to your URL, you have to write like this. You understood? Do you understood like this? Double quotes you have to use. So are you getting my point, everyone?
Yes, Nikhil.
What about Pramod?
Yes.
See, you guys obviously has to go through it for sure. I'm saying because it is not that simple as what you think. Okay, not this is not that easy uh, as how it is supposed to be. Hmm? So like this, it should be.
Yes.
I hope got it right.
Yes.
Sorry, it should not be this one. Okay, it should be like this. Okay, so this is also fine, but this guy has written in other way around. They have, I mean, this guy means whatever that we are getting. So it has they have written in other way around also. Okay, see, either you can write directly like this, or you can also write like this, or they are writing like this. So what they are writing again a method inside a method. This is a method, right? So this is again a method which is there in base unit, because that is the reason. Please listen what it is saying. This class is importing this class, so this class has all authority to go and read everything from base class. So that's the reason it says super init driver. So this driver, that means this chrome driver, whatever you are using in the registration page, this is again coming from base driver. Okay, that's understanding. So now you can call any method inside the base class base page. Base page is a very basic one. Okay, here you are just see click means if you are see simple thing, they have created different methods for click, for move to, for type. Type means send keys, for selecting drop downs, for move to. Okay, if suppose anyone is passing locator with xpath, okay, so you have to find element by xpath. If anyone is pathing with css, you have to find element by css. If anyone is finding by id, you have to find element by id. So generally we don't need to do all these things, we only pass by xpath, right? Because there is no such restriction in Selenium. You have to pass only by XPath or only by CSS, only by ID. You can pass with any of this. Okay. Ideally, you don't need to do it, but whatever is given here, you can also understand it. So here, type is a method which is taking two parameters. One is locator and value. So if you go here, type is going to take two parameters. This is the locator and this is the value. This locator is what? This locator is there in locators under config.inf, and this is the value. Okay, so if you go to the base page utilities, so it's saying if string of str of this locator dot ends with xpath. Okay, so this is ends with xpath, so you need to go to the locator. Okay, so locator means it is here you are writing that locator, what locator you want. Okay, see you understood, right? This one you understood, right? Okay, this locator can be anything. Okay, it can be ending with xpath. Okay, so xpath, if you say is under xpath. Okay, so if it is css, so you don't need to do all these things in a simple way. I mean, I can make you understand. You can use this part. This part is fair enough. Is it clear? This path is fair enough, right? That path is fair enough. So here we are just getting the name. Similarly, enter the phone number. Same story. Again, set phone number. This phone number also type they are doing. Okay. If you again go to the type, again I'm saying locator and value. Okay. If that locator is ending with XPath, okay, you are going to capture this locator. Hmm. Okay. Else, if you are going with CSS, you have to correct CSS. We will only go with XPath. Okay. We don't need all these things. So it is literally it is just tagging all these things. Okay. For logging, you want to know what is the value that that locator and string is giving. For that purpose, this particular locator is used. Okay. It's not mandatory for us to enter all these things, but um, we can also have an idea of what is this. So you can also have an idea. Okay, what is the understanding? You don't need to write all this, going here and there to multiple things, because we are not going to use all of them, right? Similarly, select, this is very important. Global drop down. If this drop down, okay, again see XPath, same story. If the drop down is with XPath, you go and select this one. With CSS, go and select. With the ID, go and select. Ultimately, select by visible text and that value, whatever the value you are passing, that value. Okay, then you're passing it. So that means here, whatever the value you're finding as a drop down, that country value it will pass. Similarly, type. Okay, submit button, click. You understood this? You understood, everyone? You understood this? You have to go through it, but you understood this, what it is doing. It is doing nothing. It is just entering the names in a way to way. See, every step is just one implementation. Clicking on it, typing, only one implementation. So if one implementation only, they have made much. Okay, they are going to here, again from here they are going to page, and here you are writing multiple options. Are you getting my point, everyone?
Yes.
You are getting, right? So in the steps, there is nothing much here. Simple. Only login, after login, they are calling this one. You can directly call either this one you can call, or this one you can call. Okay. So they are just calling one method. That one method, this method is going here. Again, this method is going here. Okay. Again, it is checking all this. Ideally, you don't need to go have this base page, is what I understand. I mean, is what I suggest. But if you have it, also not a problem. If you don't have it, or if you don't tell it, also not a problem, because we don't go with multiple locators. Okay. So now, what is the way that how it will run? So environment.py, this is very clear. So this step, I'm not using this method anywhere. Okay. If you see, this method is just created, not been used anywhere. Okay, just created it here. Okay. I am not, because I'm not creating any allure reports as of now. This has not been used anywhere. If you see, any of no method is being calling this one. Okay? If no method is calling this one. Okay, so you can able to ignore this method possibly now. There is no problem if you don't run it also. So how to run this program? Tell me how to run this program. Go to the terminal. You can say cd features. You can say behave. What is that feature two? Not feature two. Registration feature. Dot feature. Okay. Saying that no module called utilities. 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 Then I should go out. You know what is the problem? Can you tell me? See, now it is automating. It is going to the QA automation website. It says the two failed. Okay, maybe XPath has changed. Chrome driver only supports. Can you tell me what is a session not created exception? Why you got this exception? Hmm? Do you know what is the reason I got this exception? Hmm?
Due to version change.
Yes, true. Session not created exception, you will get your Chrome driver and Chrome version is not. So my Chrome version is 122. Okay. Let me go to Google and download only that Chrome driver should be also 122. Are you getting right, everyone? Chrome driver should be equal to Chrome. So go to the 122 stable Chrome driver Win34. This one, okay? Chrome driver Win64, okay? Clear, right? Chrome driver Win64. So now what you need to do, just you need to copy paste this. It will be downloaded. Okay, it is downloaded. I need to extract it to my desktop because see already if you see where is my code? My code is where is my code? Where is my code located? This code is located where in the desktop, right? I need to just unzip it to desktop. I'm replacing it. Done. Now let me run it. So you should always have the same version of Chrome. So it's again closing. Spelling correct must check. Regas. Regastrad. What is the problem? What is the? Is there any spelling mistake?
Yes.
What is that? Regastrad. Sorry, not FBATUR. Now again, I think it has not. It was giving me session not created. Chrome driver I already downloaded, right? Let me see. already done it. I don't know for what purpose it is not coming. But let me do it again. Hmm. So that extraction went wrong. So it's saying that no attribute called find element by XPath. Yeah, it says that logging is done, but it is saying that there is nothing like find element by XPath. Okay, can you change it to our understanding? See, this is not supported now. It was supported before, but this is not supported now. For instance, if you see here, uh, here, here we are typing right by XPath and all. So this is not working. Okay, so I should do like this for everything. I have to change everything. Can you change it and check and tell me? Can you change it and check and tell me? Can you change it and check and tell me? You understood what is the issue? Can you change it for like whatever I did it for everyone? It's already late, right? Can we check it tomorrow? You're getting right?
Yes, Nikhil.
You getting right, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, all pass, nothing failed. Okay, so I will just zip and share it to you. Please work on it. Tomorrow I'll explain again. Don't worry, everything. Okay, in a very neat way again. So you will have an idea of clear cut idea of it. And again I'll explain the entire thing. Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.